Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this book. I feel bad saying that, so that's why I'm awkward right now. Everybody, welcome back to BRJ. My name is Betsy, and yes, I have been missing for a while, but we are back. I will be discussing all of the books that I read for the month of March. So I hope that you stay tuned. For the month of March, I read 3 books, starting with The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. This is a continuation of her series. In January, I read The Wedding Date, and I have a review of it, which I'll put up here. And in March, I read this one. This is a book that was chosen by my book club. We kind of just picked it as like, okay, this is a fun read. We had just finished reading The Water Dancer, and this one just seemed like a great break of a book between heavy topics. So we decided to read this one. I was not very particularly excited about this book because I already read The Wedding Date, and I didn't really like it that much. So let's just say I wasn't expecting a lot from this one. This book is about an interracial couple. I don't know if you can see it. The girl is named Nick and the man is named Carlos. So The Proposal is about Nick, who gets proposed to at a baseball game on a jumbotron by an actor that she's dating that she's not really into. And she basically, tells him no, that she can't marry him in front of everybody at the baseball game, and he storms off with his friend. Carlos comes and saves her with his sister Angie, because the cameras are about to come in and kind of videotape her, like, why did you say no? I've never seen that, but then again, I've never really been to a baseball game, so I don't know. So basically, that's how they start off their friendship, and they just kind of keep seeing each other. A very light book. If you take it for what it is, just like I spoke about The Wedding Date, if you just take it for what it is, it's not something that you're going to find a lot of depth, a lot of character development in. So some good things about this book. I really liked Carlos's character. The author didn't change who he was from The Wedding Date. So the author was very consistent in writing who he is, and I pretty much enjoyed that. He was always a kind person, and this was always shown to me in the book. And I feel like Carlos was the more mature person in their relationship, or they never called it a relationship. Whatever they were doing, they were just basically sleeping together, and they were calling like F-buddies kind of thing. Basically, that's what they were. But Carlos was a very consistent character. He was always there for his family. He was always the more emotionally mature one. I honestly felt like Nick had the emotional maturity of a 5-year-old, well, 12-year-old, let's give her that. It just seemed like she was very stuck on her past for very, stupid reasons. Not stupid reasons, I'm not gonna say that, because sometimes we all are stuck in our past. It just seemed like she was very stuck in her past and wasn't able to kind of leave that behind, and which was part of the issue between her and Carlos. I also enjoyed the fact that towards the end, Nick realized that she was not able to fully love someone and let herself be loved. I really like that, revelation for her. There was a moment in the book where Nick, the female character in this book, meets the female character in The Wedding Date. And they didn't know that the other person was black. It was very much a relatable moment. Carlos's character, Nick, recognizing that she is unable to fully let herself be loved. And the cute meetup with Alexandra and Drew were the only things that I really pretty much appreciate about the book. I had a very hard time finishing it because I didn't really like it very much, but this year I was trying to just read books that I like, but it's just been very hard when you're part of book clubs, because you want to come in and you want to give your 2 cents and you want to be able to fully be engaged in the discussion. It's hard to be fully engaged in the discussion when you're not reading the book. And I'm one of those people, like, if I start it, I'm gonna work hard to finish it. That was the hard part for me with The Proposal. But I think I give it like a 2 out of 5. But it was nice discussing it with other people that liked it. So I'll give it that. So yeah, it's just a light book. If you're reading something heavy, if you're reading like a informational book and you just wanna like smile and you just, pick this up. You'll enjoy it. The next book that I read was also part of a book club read. It is called The Overdue Life. Ooh, my bad, y'all. The Overdue Life of Amy Byler. This book is for my book club at work. This book was written by Kelly Harms. It's about 315 pages. In short, the book is about a middle-aged woman who has 2 children, and she was married. Well, she is still married throughout the whole book, but her husband left her for about 3 years, and she's basically been struggling and trying to bring her life back together and the kids' lives back together. She had to get her own job. She had to kind of like just be the sole parent for her children, and she was just going through it. And then the book is basically when this guy comes back and he's like, yo, I want to be a part of my kids' lives. So, and basically she had to kind of navigate through that. How's that gonna work? How am I just gonna accept you back into my kid's life? Do you want to be back in my life? Do you want to be my husband again? How am I supposed to forgive all this? How are the kids gonna forgive all this? How are we gonna cope? Like, a lot of things went into this book. And it's very sad for me to say that this book could have been really good. Is that weird? Like, you know, when a book could have been good, but it's like the author just didn't do what they were supposed to do. I can't be talking because I can't write. The good thing about this one, when she was discussing her hurt, when she was talking about how hurt she was when the husband, who's named John, when the husband left her, how she had to struggle with the kids, and how she, you know, she was dealing with one of the kids that was wetting the bed. She was, you know, she had to get her daughter into school. She had to go back to work and basically do for herself, and how crushing it was, you know, when he came back and she was like, what are you doing here? And it's like a total, like, her world was just changing. When John left, she kind of took everything on by herself, and she didn't really ask for help in regards to either babysitting or, you know, sharing the load with the children with her friends. So I think that there were those were the only 2 things that I liked about the book. So the bad things. Part of the book, the husband comes and now he's like, hey, can I have the kids for the summer? And she just like, okay, cool, you can have the kids. I mean, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, you can have the kids. Of course, she was feeling some type of way about it. You know, she's trying to be a grown-up, let the kids decide. I just felt like her and the children were too quick. Like, they were too quick to be like, all right, cool, let's hang out with dad who's been missing for 3 years. Where you been, dog? Like, where have you been? We've been here with mom. But the kids were like, oh yeah, let's go hang out with dad. He got money, like, let's go. And I'm just like, no, let's talk about, like, where you've been. Let's talk about your parenting skills. Let's talk about what these kids need. Like, the author didn't really go into that as much as I would have liked. And the mom just goes off to a conference in New York and has this thing called a mom springa, which is basically when you leave your children and you go to New York and you just have a ball and you have a good time. And she goes on different dates. Like, she gets a whole makeover, she gets a haircut, and that's supposed to change her life. And on top of that, like, it just seemed like I was reading a YA book for adults. I was like, what is this? Did I pick up a young adult book? Because this is what this is. You know, it just felt like that. Also, there was some mental health issues that were not really discussed in the book, because clearly the father was going through some sort of depression. They didn't talk about that at all. Even one of the children had to see a therapist because he was bedwetting. There was a lot, like, that was weird about the book. There was also a race and sexuality thing that I was like, where did that come from? Oh yeah, let's talk about this guy's sexuality. And it was just like, what? It had nothing to do, it had nothing to do with this. Like, oh yeah, I'm dating an Asian guy now. Oh yeah, the nun is gay. And it's like, what? It's like, what? Like, I didn't know. You know those authors that just kind of throw stuff in just for the sake of it, but don't really explore any of it. that's basically what it was. Yeah, that's basically what the book was. I also give it a 2 out of 5. I think space where the author is more comfortable in is in writing about the hurt that the character went through and growing out of that, and realizing that, you know, you don't have to be alone in raising your children, and that, you know, you are independent, you are strong. A thing where she said that she felt like when she got in the cab to go to New York that her weight was like lifted off her shoulder. Like she's been carrying all that weight on her shoulder, and I just felt that. I felt that. I felt that. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this book. I feel bad saying that, so that's why I'm awkward right now. But yeah. Okay, so that's how I felt about it. If you want to read it, you can pick it up, but if you don't feel bad, because I ain't like it. Okay, next. The last book that I got a chance to finish reading, that I read in like probably 2 days, is Such a Fun Age. It just seemed like one of those books that you just gotta like bounce with. Oh my god. Yeah, Such a Fun Age is, let me hold it a little bit longer, because Such a Fun Age is a book that's been all over Bookstagram, and I mean all over Bookstagram, everybody's feed. I even saw a picture of a lady did her nails, just like, you know, with the prints and stuff like that. I saw it and I was like, y'all must really like this book. So in my mind, I was like, let's read this book. Let's get into it. The book Such a Fun Age was written by Kylie Reed, an African-American female author. It is also about 300 and plus pages. So mainly the book is about a young girl named Amira who's 25 years old. She's a babysitter working for Alex, a white woman, and her family, and she babysits for Alex's daughter, Briar. And the book starts out where Myra is in the club celebrating a birthday. And she gets a phone call from Alex, like, hey, can you come get Briar, please? Because there was an incident. The police had to come because somebody threw a rock out their window. So Amira comes, she picks up the child, and she just kind of takes the kid to the fancy neighborhood grocery store, a very expensive grocery store apparently, where all the white people shop. She's at the grocery store, she's wearing her club outfit with a white child, and she's just dancing in the grocery aisle with the child and her friend. So a white lady sees it and she's like, okay. So she calls the security guard. She's like, there's a black lady that is dancing in the aisle with a white child. I'm gonna need you to check on that. So the security guard comes and she's like, where you got this baby from? What's good? Amira is like, I'm babysitting this child. Like, I'm a nanny for this child. What you mean? I can't be with the child? What is going on? It's because I'm black. And she basically, and then a white bystander is videotaping the whole thing. So that's the beginning of the book. And basically what the book is supposed to go into is kind of like transactional relationships that involve race as well. During the book, Amira is just babysitting for Briar even after the whole incident. And the entire time, one of the main characters, Alex, the white woman, she's kind of just double thinking everything. Like, oh man, I wonder if I do this around Amira, if she's gonna think I'm cool enough or I'm down for the cause. I want her to see that I have black friends. And I'm just like, okay. And then Amira this whole time is just lost. She's just this lost 25-year-old that doesn't know what she's gonna do with her life. She has absolutely no direction. All she cares about is the fact that she has no health insurance. And there's a black woman that comes in to kind of help direct her, but Amira sees the black woman as like a coon. So the whole time I'm reading the book, I'm like, okay. I just felt like, to me, Alex's worries about whether or not she was fitting in with Amira, her black babysitter, were just a little bit over the top, a little bit over exaggerated. It's like she couldn't even live her own life. She was very consumed by how Amira felt about her. And that to me was just too much. Like, it's like, are you okay? I'm pretty sure white people don't be worried about us like that. Like, you know, you have Amira doesn't know who she is. I feel like she was just a lost person. So I blame Bookstagram for force feeding this book down my throat. I could not relate to any of the characters. I could not relate to Amira. I could not relate to Alex. I could not relate to the boyfriend that she was going out with. Like, that boyfriend was probably also racist and had a fetish for black women. And I'm just like, all the characters were weird. Each and every one of them. What's good about this book is that you can, like, you want to keep reading. I think the writer has a way of making you wanting to figure out what's gonna happen next. And I like that about the writing. So I would recommend it in that sense. Like, if you just need something to read, especially during this coronavirus thing, go ahead and read it. But if you have other books in mind, go ahead and pick those up instead. Is that bad? I feel so bad because everybody's just like hyping this book up, and I'm over here like tearing it down. Okay, maybe not tearing it down, I'm just giving my opinion. I just did not enjoy the plot, and I could not relate to a lot of the characters. I don't know, it's just me. So overall, I give it like maybe a 3 out of 5. So as you can see, the lighting is getting like even more low. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell, and watch my other videos. And pick up another book, and I'll talk about the books that I'll be reading for the month of April.